right now, USC currently has the #1 recruiting class in the nation. Lincoln Riley and his staff have committed themselves to not just locking down the state of Cali, but also dominating the national recruiting scene as well. USC's recruiting momentum is real. There is nothing fake about this. This is what a fully bought in USC program looks like under Lincoln Riley. They got their NIL money right. They just hired Chad Bolden as their general manager away from Notre Dame. He's going to help properly allocate those funds. He's going to help strengthen USC's local and national recruiting. Lincoln Riley has been given everything necessary to get USC football back in national title contention. What happens this fall is going to determine if this recruiting class is able to stick. We remember around this time last year, USC had a recruiting surge, and then once we got into summer, recruits started taking visits in June and July. They started decommitting, flipping. The class fell out of the top 10, and they finished 14th. The difference between this year and last year is that USC actually is prioritizing taking back the state of California. Last recruiting cycle, Alabama went into USC's backyard and came away with 4 of the top 15 highest rated recruits out of this state. One of them was out of Mater Dei, a high school program that has been a pipeline for USC football. There's been a lot of USC greats that have come from Mater Dei, and due to the relationship with Mater Dei coaches deteriorating over the last couple of years with USC, it's allowed teams from the South to, build those relationships with that program and also other schools like St. Bosco, and now they're infiltrating on USC's recruiting ground. USC has to be able to dominate recruiting in their own backyard. Of course, you're going to have a few guys that want to go outside the state. They don't want to stay home. But if USC is actually good and they are back to what they used to be during the golden age of Pete Carroll, you should be locking down the majority of the best players out of this state. There's no reason why schools from the South like Bama, Texas A&M, and then you got Oregon, Notre Dame, and then Penn State, who are coming in just taking all of the top talent from this state. There was a point where USC always got the best players from St. Bosco, Mater Dei High School, and they need to get back to doing that. And that's what's changing this go around, and the difference that you're noticing out of USC recruiting in 2025 versus what we saw in 2024. They are making the added effort to rekindle those relationships. If you want to get back to what you were during your heyday, you gotta secure your own state. Florida, if they ever are going to be able to get back to what they used to be during the Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow regime, they have to be able to lock down the state of Florida. And the way that you're able to do that is by showing these recruits this program is prioritizing being able to become a contender again. And when you do that, guys see that they have a possibility of not just being able to win, but they also have the possibility of being able to be developed for the NFL. And it gives them less reason to want to have to leave the state, going to Ohio State or Alabama. Most of these guys want to stay home. It's just that why would they want to stay home when they can't trust that they're going to be developed properly at the school that they grew up watching for so many years? It's a huge risk. USC is showing us that they are fully committed to reviving this program. And as long as this administration continues to give Lincoln Riley the resources that he needs, I expect for this class to only get better. We could see USC bring in their best recruiting class in a very long time with what they have currently right now and the guys that they're going after. They are possibly going to flip a few more guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them flip some guys that are outside of the state of California. Something that also has been a noticeable change with USC recruiting is how they went from being a school that when you used to look at their recruiting classes 4 and 5 years ago, you only saw maybe 4 or 5 guys max outside of the state of California. Now, these last couple of cycles, you're getting guys like Cameron Fountain out of Atlanta, Georgia. You're being able to get guys like Jason Zandamela, although he transferred. At the time, it was a big pickup for you. You got him out of Florida. USC is showing us that they have the ability to be a national, prominent recruiting brand again. They're not just a program that's regulated to just recruiting on the West Coast, only being able to recruit out of their state. They can recruit anywhere. USC is viewed as a blue blood program. It's not like they're a program that hasn't really been in the spotlight before. Nobody knows about them. Majority of people know about USC everywhere. So there's no reason why USC shouldn't be able to assemble recruiting classes from all over America, where you got some of the best players of Texas and Florida included with that California talent that you're bringing in. I believe in what Lincoln Riley is building at USC. This program is in a way different situation now than what they were when Lincoln first took this job. Remember, Clay Helton did a terrible job of recruiting. Before he got fired, he brought in some of the worst classes in the history of USC football. This was not a team that was supposed to be as good as what they were when they won 11 games year one under Lincoln Riley. They were able to overachieve due to them not having to play Washington and Oregon that year. They only had to play Utah, and they lost to them twice. So that shows you, everything you kind of needed to know about that team that year. The best team they played, they got smacked around. Now, the second time they played Utah, if Caleb Williams never gets banged up during that game, maybe that's a different outcome. And they probably do get into the playoffs if he never gets injured during that game. But ultimately, after year one, Lincoln Riley had to rebuild this program again. And he also had to get the administration to buy in. He had to make them realize that college football is different now. You just can't expect for recruits to flock to USC due to the name, due to the proximity. You have a little bit of an easier time getting these guys compared to if you were somebody like Ohio State or Alabama recruiting outside of the state trying to get them. But at the same time, you still have to be able to fork up the necessary NIL money to incentivize them to want to stay home. And you have to show them that staying home is the best decision for them being able to win, compete, showcase their abilities in front of everybody on the national stage, and also be able to be developed for the next level. This new coaching staff with D'Anton Lynn, Doug Bell, and several others are doing a great job of selling USC football for being a program that should be where every California high school player wants to play for again. You shouldn't want to go outside the state anymore. You should want to play in front of your family and friends. You should want to stay close to home. And USC right now, with them locking down the state of Cali, being able to keep Oregon, Penn State, and some of these other big name programs from coming into their backyard, snagging all of their great talent, is going to help this program get back into national title contention.